Hi, we're the Huge Movie Fanatics here to do a review of Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. This is one that I got to see for free from Barnes & Noble. I attended a little pre-screening thing and got free tickets to go, which I'm kind of glad about because I didn't have to pay money. Anytime you get to see a free movie is awesome. But the thing was, I had no expectations for this movie. And I probably, in fact, that's probably a lie. I probably had low expectations for this movie. And I was pleasantly surprised. I was not only entertained, but I thought they did a really good job at summarizing Abraham Lincoln's life and gave a very good adaptation of his life with vampires. I mean, like, they just changed things so that vampires were present, but it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. The action was pretty cool, especially the scene with the horses and stuff like that. The stampede scene was pretty cool. The train scene at the end was a bit over the top, but I enjoyed it. I just had fun the whole time, and I'm glad I saw it. It's not one of my favorites of the year. It's certainly not one of the worst I've seen. So I'm going to go with a nice, healthy 3 stars for this one. And pass it off to you.
All right, back when summer movies were coming out, I don't know when I first saw the trailer for this movie, and I was like, what the fuck? I wanted to actually review the trailer with you and say, what is this world coming to? What the fuck? There was a 10% of me that actually kind of thought that idea was so ridiculous it was cool from the trailer.
Yeah.
But I was like, what the fuck? About the whole idea, and then like it was my intention was to never bother with that. I'm not a huge vampire person in general.
Yeah, me neither.
And then came like Thanksgiving week at Best Buy, the 3D Blu-ray was $14.99.
Yeah, that's right.
So I thought, you know, that's a cheap 3D Blu-ray for a brand new movie, and I said, fuck it, I'm depressed. You know, let's just blow $15 on a brand new release in a 3D movie. I mean, that's cheaper than the 2D normally is. So I'm like, fuck it, let's just do this. And I give this fucking movie 3 stars. I could not believe how great the movie was.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't necessarily, first of all, the way it opened, and I think it might have been, I don't know if they had the shot, they had the narration, I don't know if they had the shot, but that shot of Washington or whatever with that big phallic, whatever the fuck that thing is. What is that thing called? The Injustice?
I can't remember what it's called,
but anyway, the shot of it,
is
present history, sucks.
I like history, but
sucks. The present day phallic American will fuck the whole world thing that's in Washington, and the shot going like this, and then the time goes back in time, and as they're tracking around this phallic fuck the world symbol, it only goes to like halfway, and they're building it, and the buildings in the background disappear, and it's just like the first shot is fucking great. And I'm like, and also the way he kind of narrates it because it's his journal thing, and the way that it instantly hooked me by the way he narrated, like Lincoln, I think I'm right? Yeah. Narrated his own thing, his own story based on what he's writing, and it just, even the first shot and the narration hooked me. Yeah. And that transition, going back to, because I've seen it twice, I watched it recently because I wanted to be a little fresh. And, you know, I love the way, a lot of times in movies like this, especially a blockbuster movie, you can handle the old days in ways that I feel doesn't pay tribute to the old, like a lot of movies just say, yes, it's in the old days, but I don't feel like it really pays tribute to them. I don't know, I don't know how the movie is, but I know how I responded to it. I think the movie, it pays, I think it nicely pays tribute to the time.
Yeah.
And there's actually, right at the beginning when he comes back to, as an older person, to kill that one vampire that was mean to him when he was a kid, or whatever, I was really, really impressed that there were some scenes, and even more in the movie, where for being a summer blockbuster action movie, there were some shots that like lingered, and even like when he's in the White House and on the bed and stuff, there's shots that last longer than 10 seconds, which is unheard of, even not blockbuster, but let alone being a summer blockbuster. I don't know who the hell it is that directed it. Some Russian or something. I don't know.
He did Want It a couple years ago.
But I was impressed from the very beginning of this movie. It sets up great. Well, the thing about it that I like is that it's interesting. As things happen, it's like, okay, this happens, the altercation at the beginning, that you can't pay the debt as a way to claim that, I'm going to come and drink your wife's blood. All this stuff, it was based off a book, so maybe that's the reason. I don't know anything about that or anything like that, but maybe that's the reason why it was better than your normal just movie if someone had written it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of confidence in the structure of the story.
Yeah.
And the thing that I really loved, I didn't know anything, but I Googled his son, is that, Abe had a son who died at that age, and by having that happen was just genius. And again, that was probably the writer of the book, more than the movie makers, but it just progressed in a way that was very interesting, and it never got boring, and it's just like somehow, and for me, it just hit the right chords, the right nerves, where it was like, it embraces that period in a way that respects it, and this is also at the same time over the top, Matrix slow motion shit. Somehow it worked.
Yeah, it did.
And I
much
never,
more than that.
I never thought it would for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Much more than what? What were you saying?
Or like things, I can't stand the like.
I generally don't.
And
I don't know why it worked for me. And he's like, and the great thing about that vampire that you don't know he's a vampire that trains him is that he's actually training him to kill the vampires that he can't kill himself. Yeah. That you find out later. That, again, was probably from the book, is just genius.
Yeah,
that you find that out. And I love how when they train him, and he's like, oh, I've never been good with, the kid, how was splitting wood, I've never been good with the gun, and the axe, I love the axe symbol, because I love an axe from Friday the 13th in horror movies. And the thing where he's, at the very beginning, where he's like, I want you to cut this tree down in one swipe. I can't do that. And he's like chopping and what makes you mad? And every time he says it, and then that one shot, he's like, it's absolutely just stupid, but it's just, it's the exact right blending of whatever for me to work. Yeah. And I was very impressed. I couldn't believe it. And like I say, the story, which is very competent, which is probably just taken from the book, but Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, the title is like something I completely would never even think to see. But thanks to Best Buy's sale of the 3D Blu-ray, I saw something I never thought I would.
I wasn't really intending to see it either, just because it's one of those things like on paper, Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter, that sounds fun, I'd watch it, but then like when it actually comes out, you're like, I'm not going to waste my money on this, it's going to suck, what's the point? But then I got the free ticket to see it, and I was like, wow, this is actually really good. And I had a friend who went to see this over Brave. She went to the midnight showing of this movie over Brave, and I was like, what is wrong with you? You're stupid. And then she texted me afterwards, and she was like, I loved it, it was the best movie of the year. And I was like, okay, let's reel it in, it's not that good. And then I saw it and I was like, yeah, this is pretty darn good.
It really, in the way it opened, and then it bookended with the ending of the guy who's going to live forever, doing the same thing. He was a man who gets that drunk is either want to kiss a girl or kill a man. And the gun falls to the ground. And it's just like, fuck. And the way at the very end, he's like, we're going to the theater. We'll be late. And anyone who knows anything knows that he's going to go die. Yeah. And the great thing about that is he's going to probably be killed by a vampire. And then it kind of makes it be like, okay, that's why, not really why he killed in real life, but for the story, it's kind of like whatever X-Men Last Stand or whatever, that blends the fictional, or is this whole movie true? How would that be? That'd be kind of creepy. But the fictional movie stuff with the reality of, well, what they tell us is the history anyway, the official story, just such a great way. So I don't want to go too long, which we'll probably start to do soon, but, and again, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is a very great, beautiful, wholesome character in this movie, and it was great to see her in 3D, as close probably as I'll ever get to see her in real life, but I was like this, But the movie had a lot of great humor and actually charming moments where they came back from that date and she's like this, he's tall and she's like this for a kiss and he's like, and she takes off his hat and sits on and stands on it. Stuff like that that's actually heartfelt and how can this possibly be in a summer blockbuster movie? It's just, I was very impressed. 3 stars, Abraham Lincoln. I never thought I'd hear myself say that. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, 3 stars, very entertaining.
3 stars across the board.
Check it out. Thanks for watching.